You saying you're a little bit afraid of women in groups. All men are afraid of women in groups. And I'll go you one more. All women are afraid of women in groups. Hello, darling.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. I know in the past you said your dream role would be Cleopatra. At this point in time in your life and in your career, has that changed? Or is there something else you would rather do?
No, in fact, it just reared its head again. So I am. It is Cleopatra. And I've been offered it. I'll do it. You know, I have to hurry up. She was 44 when she died. But I'm going to play it. The problem with Antony and Cleopatra is you have to find the Antony, right? You have to believe this sizzle between these two. But Joe Dowling at the Guthrie Theater just offered this to me 2 weeks ago, and I jumped. So I'll let you all know when that is. And you can come and cheer me up. She was an extraordinary person, wasn't she, Cleopatra? And you know, really rather funny looking, but so funny. That's what brought Caesar and Antony to their knees with Cleopatra. So witty. You're great. You're great to remember that. Thank you very much, both of you. Thanks. Yes. Darling, you, sir.
I have a question.
Oh, yes, Rita, go.
That's fine. First of all, I just want to make a really quick comment. I like your shoes.
And all women look at other women's shoes. Yes.
Quick question.
Yes.
What was the most awkward situation you found yourself in while filming Voyager?
What was the most awkward?
Yes. Like, as actresses and actors, you find yourself in horribly awkward situations all the time, but what was the most awkward for you?
During the run of Voyager?
Yes. Or
Are you
ever.
kidding? Do you know how many alien species I had to deal with to keep a straight face at 5 o'clock in the morning? Awkward. It was a bit awkward when 7 of 9 came out. That was awkward for me. I loved Jen Lee, and I had developed this relationship with her, and then she was gone. And it seemed to me so sudden and so shocking that this remarkable and clearly beautiful and sexual creature had come to grace my ship with her sensuality. And I think, and I say this all the time now quite openly, it's my way of sharing with you my own terrible fractured nature and my own vulnerability about stuff and my own sometimes rigidity and inability to accept. I had hoped against hope that Paramount would be able to push through with a female captain without airing too much to the sexual. I had hoped this would truly have been breakthrough, right? While allowing for it within the ship. But they felt, I think, that they had to do this for the numbers. And that was terribly disappointing to me in the moment. And it took me about a year to get over that. It had nothing to do with Jerry Ryan, who is just a great beauty and a great girl. But it had everything to do with Kate Mulgrew reacting to what was going on. So I think in terms of awkwardness, I was a little surprised to find myself feeling what I felt. And the length of time it took me to understand and to overcome it. So I hope that answers your question. It's certainly very honest. Thank you. Hi. Very big man.
I just have a couple of comments, and not really a question. I just first humbled to be talking to you. I've worked at conventions for years. I'm on staff, and I have had the opportunity to sit in many panels, in many discussions. I've run some discussions before, and I've always found it interesting, number one, at the tone. I've heard you speak twice. At the tone you set when you come into a panel and stand on stage, versus some other very iconic figures that I very much adore on stage and on screen. Whereas, you know, one cheers for them, the other cheers for their ego, and one cheers for, for them, and one cheers for their teeth. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say
No names. Yes.
I'm sorry.
No,
But the
you're fine.
tone that you set when you walk on stage is so different. I mean, you don't hide behind the table. And you speak to people as opposed to make this about them. I mean, you make it about everyone else. I think that's fantastic and speaks to your personality. I also dig your shoes. No. Two.
Were you at DragonCon? Yeah. Did you see Janeway's shoes?
That's like dragon. Sorry, Eric.
It's dangerous.
He's gonna kill me for that.
Uh-huh.
Number two.
You're secretly very dangerous, aren't you?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up in a single-parent household. My mother raised me, put me through school, and she was a very strong character and influenced my life in more ways than I can imagine and that I will ever know. And when I first heard, Kate who? What? Star Trek? Kate who? I did some research, talking about who's going to be the captain, who. I didn't think anything of it. It did not occur to me that it was a monumental occasion that a woman was going to be helming, the starship. I was like, well, I mean, it didn't make that big of an impact on me because I thought, do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
I was used to seeing, women in authority figure. That's why.
So it was no surprise to you that a woman did. I get it.
Exactly. Sorry.
Got it.
Like speaking Klingon? What? No. And lastly, my
I
last
thought it was a
comment.
poem for a minute. Kate who? Kate who?
And lastly, and I've been a fan of all the Trek genres, starting with classic Trek, all up through Enterprise. And I have led panel discussions when I say that, and I step out on a limb when I say this, that I think Voyager spoke more back to the original, what the original spirit of Star Trek was.
Do you?
I do.
That makes me feel good.
I firmly believe Voyager spoke more to Roddenberry's original dream and the spirit of what Star Trek was. You could not get in beg, borrow for all of your supplies. You had to make alliances. You couldn't call Starfleet for help. You've lost on your own. You could have gotten back quicker, but you still earned your Starfleet ideals.
Couldn't find the gas station.
But you stood fast on your Starfleet ideals, even though that's what stranded you there to begin with. What your characters. So, to me, I have loved Voyager for that reason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've absolutely made my day. Thank you very much. Very nice. Very nice. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Kate. Good.
Good.
I do want to agree with the last gentleman. You are one of the most approachable stars in this entire convention, and I think that's why you have a line that's a mile long.
But why are you all kneeling?
So the camera can...
Oh, I thought it was a thing. I thought, well, now this is really too much. Okay. You're great. Yes, sir. What is your question?
But thank you again for being so approachable, and I think one of the other very influential women... Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just don't quite understand that because, I mean, I had the great gift, didn't I, of playing this role. And then I have the extraordinary privilege to come in front of a group of people of this magnitude and this collective intelligence who loved that series. Why would I be less than absolutely present to it? I don't understand that.
There's nothing in it. With everyone else
But there's nothing in that for me. Do you understand? To be less, there's nothing in that, and there's nothing in that for you. So I don't know what that means. That's true. What is your question?
But to get to my question, what I was going to ask was, another one of the very influential women in Star Trek history, of course, is Lieutenant Uhura, Nichelle Nichols. And I don't know if you've had a chance to speak
I know
with
Nichelle,
her,
yes.
and what have you guys talked about and discussed?
Sex.
And... I'm expecting that. All right.
That woman loves to talk about sex.
I am blushing and humbled by that, so not quite the answer I had thought for, but I was just getting your thoughts on it. So.
There you have it. Thank you. You may not know this, or maybe you do know this. A lot of sex in Star Trek. A lot of sex. Sorry? Yes. What is your question?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Myself, I study international studies to do security interests. And
Security interests.
security interests, like preventing war, preventing conflict.